Week one, or not even. Oh my God. Time to start over. All right, we're calling it a
Rewind.
day.
Wow.
Jesus criminy. I mean,
Come
holy.
on. You got all these new followers thanks to Taylor Swift. I feel like that's part of the reason.
Yes.
I'm
We got
just.
a ton. We even got a little. We got a little of the what's it called,
The
runoff.
love.
I guess yeah.
Hmm.
We got like 50 followers on Instagram this or on Twitter this weekend.
Hell
So
yeah. That's awesome.
Welcome, welcome.
we're all
Yeah,
winning.
we are. All right, well, let's try it again. How about week three? Welcome to week three of
There we go,
the
y'all.
NFL.
Week
I
3.
did it right this time. Man.
Bro,
We are in our red era. How about that?
Oh
the
my
Red
gosh.
Kingdom. It's hard to avoid, man. You gotta just you
You
gotta
got to
just let
lean
it happen,
into
man.
it,
It's
You gotta
everywhere
let it
now.
gotta
ride,
lean
man.
into it.
Exactly. Lean
You gotta
into
let it ride.
it. 9/24/23. Taylor Swift was here. I mean, the NFL is leaning into it. Every team's like social media campaigns are leaning into it. Taylor Swift is a trending topic on social media in general right now. I have clients who are using her pictures from our game in her Chiefs gear as memes on social media right now. It
Oh
is
man.
a
Wow.
really great time. Oh
Are
yeah,
you
y'all.
are
Oh
you a
yeah.
Swiftie, hon?
Like, I'm not a diehard Swiftie. Like, I love her music. I love the glitter and bling and all of that. I could totally come off as a Swiftie, but I'm not diehard, I would say. So
Okay.
I'm not mad about what's happening between her and Travis Kelsey, but also I'm not quite sure that I'm all for it yet, you know? I mean, we'll get into this, I'm sure, but yeah,
Yeah,
I'm,
we'll
I'm
we'll, we'll start with
not
the
quite sure.
Yeah, we got to start with
we'll
the more
definitely
important
dive
stuff.
into it.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll
Oh
definitely
yeah.
dive into it.
Oh yeah, we'll digest it all.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
But the more important thing, positive yards, week three. How are we doing? How are we doing this week? Anything fun? Anything good? Anyone
I
got
got one.
anything? Okay.
I got my car back.
Heck yeah.
It's been
Yes,
2 weeks. I don't even know if I talked about this on the show, but
praise.
my car went down and out. A lot going on, even though I only bought it 10 months ago. So I definitely feel like I got swindled by the dealership, but it's fine. It's fine. It's all good. Only $1,000 out of my pocket. That's fine.
Oh my word.
But but it works again for now. And yeah, we rolling. So yeah, it was a
Well,
long week. It was a long week. Didn't
happy
have
to hear it.
didn't have a vehicle, but was able to get that back, able to get that up and running again.
Did you
Um
manage okay? Did you have a lot of
they
really
I
nice
will
friends
say
who?
no, well, they did give me a loaner. I will give them
Okay.
credit for that, and it was, pretty nice one too. It was like a brand new 2023, so had all the bells and whistles. But there's nothing like your car. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like it
you
was
know.
nice and everything, like to check out like what maybe I'll get down the road. But I'm like, man, I just want my own car back.
Yeah, it's like,
And
you
I
know.
hear that.
so yeah, but that's my
Well,
positive
glad you're
yards.
back.
Short and
You
sweet.
got your wheels back and you're
I'm all
up
right
and at
back.
'em again.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, Hung, how about
But
you? What are you looking at?
Me? My positive yards, you guys. My youngest's football team got their first win on the season on Saturday, and it was a really, really resounding team win. Everybody had to do their part, as we very well know what happens in the game of football, but all the pieces came together. They had 3 fantastic practices last week, and you could tell it was building and building, and they were able to take it into their game over the weekend and get a really good team win. And it was a very solid win. Like they were, I don't even remember the final score. It was like 40 something to no, 7. So it was a resounding win. It was solid. It was all aspects of the game. I'm very proud of them.
nice.
Awesome.
Hmm.
Fantastic.
Billy, how about
And
All
you?
right,
Billy,
yeah, I
what about
guess, yeah,
you?
I was trying to delay a little bit there so I could make up something, right? No, I mean, I guess the big thing from the last week here, my mom was in town, so got to see her. What first time since when were we in Florida? I don't know, sometime earlier this year. Um, I got to see her, hang out with her, watch the game with her, all that good stuff. So
Cool.
she doesn't do the whole NFL Sunday ticket thing or anything like that. So the only time she gets to see the Chiefs is when they're in prime time or at nationally televised, which of course lately has been, it seems like every other game. But yeah, it was fun having her around. So flies back tomorrow. I'll be missing having all my food bought for me, but hey, what can you do? You know, gotta find the will to move on, I suppose. So
it's like the best and the worst part about when mom's there, right? Or when you are around mom. And I apologize, Bruno's whining in the background, y'all.
And I do have to be a little nice because she says she has been watching the pod lately, so or watching the VODs, listening
Ooh,
to it. So I can't keep trash talking her like I always do.
better
Though
not,
I
especially with who
mean,
she has in her bench too in
I
fantasy.
that's that was
Uh-huh.
going to be the thing I slide in there later this week, but I mean,
Mm-hmm.
thank goodness I was able to win. Oh man,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
thank
We'll get
goodness, thank
into that too,
goodness.
y'all.
Absolutely. All right. So obviously, the big news this past weekend was some person was watching the game. Got a picture of him up on the stream, of course. Donna Kelsey was in the house, so got to see
Mama
her,
Kelsey.
hang out and watch her son. Of course, absolutely play a great game. A pretty good game, I would say. Probably middle of the road game, honestly. Now that I think about it, for him.
Yeah,
For him,
for
I would
sure.
say, yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
he did
But a middle of the road
calculate.
game for him is a good game for a lot of
Right,
defense.
right. It's a good game
We'll
for a
just
lot of
say
tight ends.
that.
And I mean, he
He had
ended
a
the
lot of pressure on his shoulders. I mean,
yeah, mom's in the house and watching him play. So, you gotta,
right, of all people,
yeah, you gotta make sure that you're doing
Uh-huh.
stuff.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm skipping down to number 3 on our bullet list here, but massive props to him for finishing on 69 yards. Like, that was just, I hope that was intentional. I know it wasn't, but, was that just sitting in the back of his mind? Like, what would Gronk
I,
do? And he was like, I
I
got
don't
it.
think I don't
Oh my
think it was
God.
intentional at all. I think he wanted
I
to
don't know.
have
What if it was? Like, talk about mastermind.
Right.
what
Absolutely
was the game he
genius.
had?
Like, everybody had to play a part in order to make this event happen
Right.
this last
Right.
weekend.
Right. Absolutely.
What was the game he had? What, 4 touchdowns? Was that against the Chargers?
Yeah, I know it's
Last
against
Ooh,
the Raiders on
yeah.
Monday Night Football last year.
Monday Night
So
Football. Yeah, yeah. I'm sure he
Oh.
was hoping for that.
one of those.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
That's what
I was hoping for it too with him on my team this year, but I guess next week we'll just have to wait for it next
Same.
week. I just need
Mm-hmm.
just one
Whew.
touchdown game this year, please, Travis, please, for me.
Yeah, we gotta talk
For
about
all of
that.
us to make up for week 1 where you were not
Where you weren't
healthy to
there. Right,
play. And
exactly. Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Are we on the first slide? It looks like we're still on the first one.
Oh, please tell me we are. Well, please tell me we moved on. Am I just failing here? Are we in the struggle bus? Is this?
I don't know, y'all. I'm multitasking,
There we
so
go.
I'm trusting
There's
y'all to
Mama
run the
Kelsey.
slides.
Okay. There we
Okay,
go.
okay.
There we go.
Oh, okay, good. All right. Yeah. No, at 41-10. Surprisingly, this is, I think, the first time ever any of us have been within a couple of points on our prediction. I kind of did a quick and dirty look at all of our predictions across what I think it was only
Thank you for
this year and last
referring back
year.
to that.
Yeah, that
Yeah, we gotta start doing that more. But yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
What
And
was the breakdown, man?
sorry.
What was the breakdown? What was our scores again? If you want to
Well,
recap the audience.
yeah, so of course the Chiefs won 41-10. Hung, you got 49-7, so you were off by 1 on the Chiefs and 3 on the Bears. Raw, you were the furthest off with 28-17, quite a bit there, and then I had 46-12. So Hung got the closest, no doubt, but
Thank you.
yeah,
What do I win, y'all?
nothing. I don't even have a
Oh.
joke for that. I'm sorry, I didn't have anything
Respect.
prepared
Our love and respect.
for the next
Aw.
10 minutes at least.
That is priceless. All right, that is
Absolutely.
totally priceless.
So I mean, yeah, I did a quick look back at like even throughout last year, as fast as I could, and most of the time we were like 10 plus off usually, combined, which is completely reasonable. You can never guess one of these games anywhere near accurate, but go us,
Yeah,
go us. So
I'll
obviously
take it.
that makes us the best podcast for the Chiefs
But
Kingdom.
your use us as your bookies. Just
Please,
kidding.
yeah. Right. Yeah, if I showed you the
Just
bets I
kidding.
placed, people would be running away screaming, thinking about using me as a bet taker. That's for sure. Some of the stuff I gamble on, I'm like, what the heck am I thinking?
I've
Yeah,
actually
why I don't
haven't-
gamble, y'all.
Yeah, I haven't done too many bets or gambles outside of just our leagues this year. So
Yeah,
I'm proud of myself.
no, it's
It's
great.
probably
Yeah.
wise. I'd say
Yeah.
it'd be a wise choice.
Yeah, it's always important to stay healthy about that stuff. So obviously, if you're anyone out there with an issue with it, call some helplines, no doubt.
There's some hotlines you can
Treat it.
call. We don't have it listed, but
um, yeah, all right, and we're getting somber real quick here on a significant one.
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That
you
was
gotta slow that down.
brutal.
Shake
what are
it
we
off.
doing?
Shake
Yeah.
it
Oh
off.
my god.
And just blank out that
Just gotta
space and
throw that
call it
in
a
there.
day. Yeah. All
Yes,
right.
exactly.
That's the
There
extent
we
of
go.
my
There we go.
references.
You know what annoys me about the puns? Those are the only ones people know. Like
I'm saying that's the only ones I had to Google any others that I made up. So
y'all ain't even digging deep.
if you thought I was good at coming up with Taylor Swift song puns, it's because I had Google open on my other tab looking at what she's got. So
Oh my god, hilarious!
I won't even lie.
Oh my god,
You're like, Taylor
Well-
Swift, look what you made me do. That's what Billy is
look
saying.
what you made me
Right.
do.
The pain
It's me. It's me.
Yep.
Oh man, I can say
Oh, okay. Anyway.
I can't say Kate has been absolutely loving it, and she's been making so much fun of my sister because my sister is the world's biggest crush on Travis Kelce, and this has been devastating
Ooh.
her.
There's a few
Well,
broken
I'm sure it's
hearts
been
out there.
devastating
Yeah.
quite a few of the kingdom and
There's a few
beyond.
broken hearts. Let's go ahead and dive into that first, and then we can definitely dig into the game. I
Yeah,
love this story. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I think this is one of the
Right.
best Chief stories we've had in some years, just because
Oh,
it's
for
just
sure.
entertaining. It is just entertaining, man, and it's not entertaining in a bad way where no one's getting arrested. Like there's not, it's
Right.
nothing crazy. You know what I mean? Like
No one's robbing banks. You
Shit,
know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
no one's
Yeah.
robbing banks. Taylor Swift
Right?
saved us from Chiefsaholics. Ain't nobody talking about Chiefsaholics.
right.
Oh my god, everybody's talking this Swift Kelsey combo.
They're
And
not
even
even
on
talking about
Monday night.
Jackson.
And
You
he was
know?
waiting outside the suite trying to do a TikTok or something. You know, there was that kind of
There's
joking.
some of
But
that,
yeah,
but yeah, that's
it is
about
all
it.
positive hype right now.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And I okay, we're big fans of the Kansas City Chiefs, right? To me, probably out of all anything I'm interested in, it's probably like my favorite thing, like my favorite team for sure.
Mhm.
Out of all the teams I follow and things like that. And I'm just realizing how insignificantly small this group is compared to Swifties.
It's
Swifties, man.
it's insane. Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
know that I mean, obviously there's the ones people already heard about is Travis Kelce's jersey sales up 400%. His
Wild.
his followers up 300,000.
Mhm.
New Heights is the #1 podcast on all of iTunes, not
Yeah.
just sports,
Not just sports.
all of it.
Wild.
And I just saw that, and while we were just in there talking, I just saw that Travis Kelce caught 4.3 million touchdowns in Sunday in Madden. Like Madden is tweeting
Gee.
about this. Madden is tweeting about this.
This
So
is
even Madden is getting some shine. This is crazy to me.
I'm even trying to think of like other times these kind of things have bubbled up when it comes to sports or pop culture or whatever, and like obviously the big obvious one is like I think Brad oh my god, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie was probably the one that sticks out the most in my mind, but I mean those kind of things.
Oh wait,
No, and I was about to say,
yeah.
it's like those kind of things tend to happen a lot, it seems, in like the that part of the entertainment industry. But when I start like looking at, sports as far as celebrity relationships go,
right.
I mean, in the football specifically, the only one I can even think of, or the two I can think of, are Tom Brady, and his prior relationship with Giselle, and then I feel so bad I don't even know what her name is, but I know Russell Wilson's wife is
Sierra.
Yeah.
yeah.
Russell Wilson,
Exactly.
Sierra. I think you guys are forgetting one, Tony Romo and Jessica Simpson. That was kind of a big thing at the Raw. Yeah,
That's
and then I
right.
think he also Sierra, what's her name? Carrie Underwood.
Oh, were they? Okay.
I just remember that was a big thing because it's like you got the quarterback Dallas Cowboys.
I feel
and Carrie
though that like the
Mhm.
magnitude of the
Aren't the same.
right, it's not
Yeah.
the same
It's
because
not.
like if you, I mean, with you guys saying like you're not like big Swifties, but if you followed any of the Ticketmaster fiasco
Oh, I mean,
between
yeah.
like
Oh
her
yeah,
release, you could not, you know what I mean? Like it
I
broke
do remember that.
everything.
Well,
I remember that.
it inspired a congressional investigation. Like, I mean, that's how bad it was. No, I mean, believe me, I'm more than intimately familiar with it because I was sitting on the website refreshing. We were having to do it over here.
Research purposes, right?
No, Kate's a massive Swiss fan, so
Is she?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Now I see why you're so cynical about it.
I mean, it's just, I mean, for me, it's just, all right, cool, you know.
You're already used to it. You're used to it. You've been in this world. This is new.
Right. Oh man.
I
No,
totally feel like that, how the turntables turn moment for Billy here.
Mhm. Absolutely.
but
We're gonna have to bring her on as a guest on the show at some point in the future in order to talk about Taylor Swift if
Oh,
this
we're
thing
gonna have to,
continues, obviously.
yeah,
obviously.
but just also just Taylor Lewan said this on Up and Adams. The Kelsey brothers are just on an absolute heater right now. Just all
Well,
over, man. Like they're
I
just
They really
all
are,
over.
you
Ja-
guys.
Jason's documentary was like what, the #1 watched
Yes.
thing on
Yes.
Amazon Prime for the past
Yes.
week or so, I think.
And
Yeah.
have y'all seen it? Did y'all
No.
get a chance to watch it?
Yes.
I mean, I still haven't even watched
I've seen
Quarterbacks.
parts of it, and it's, oh my God,
Oh
Billy,
my
come on.
God, Billy.
Billy, you cannot not have seen it by now.
All right, I know. I
No, it
need to
sounds
get
like
it.
you
No
guys-
more gaming. No more gaming and streaming until you watch Quarterbacks.
Oh,
It will
no.
literally take you half a night. You're fine.
Oh,
Half a
no.
night, I promise.
Oh gosh, no.
You can do it.
Oh.
It's not happening.
Hey.
I
Oh,
give up.
no.
It's not happening. I give up.
I
But
need
yeah,
to.
that.
I need to. I will. I'll focus on it. I'll make it a
But
goal.
I will say, yes, his documentary is really good. It like they are just such likable brothers. That
Mhm.
the Kelsey family, they're just incredibly likable. They're down to earth. They're real. They're relatable. You know, the tender moments shared between he and his kids and his wife. His wife is awesome. Have you guys caught the pods?
Yeah, she's
Oh,
awesome.
yeah,
The episodes of New
absolutely.
Heights with her on it.
Kylie Kelsey.
Just so relatable and so funny and so down to earth. So really like them all the way around. So it's no wonder that the Swift connection now like propels all of the family up, so far. So it's pretty
It propels.
incredible.
You could say it propels them up to new heights.
Here we go.
New Heights, look at you.
There we go. I'll take a Kelsey pun. That's a good
Yeah,
change
I'll
up from
do
the
that.
damn
I'll do
Swift
that.
puns.
That's good usage.
But yeah, and just kind of last night, I just thought this was kind of funny. I saw this on Twitter. I do blank on the name, so if y'all listen to the show, feel free to comment about it. But someone said this whole thing is like when your buddy tells you he got the hot girl from the other school, and no one believes him until he shows up with her at homecoming, and that's what this.
That's exactly what this situation
was,
was.
yeah.
You're absolutely correct. Man.
It's just been fun. Yeah, it's a fun story. I'm a little sick of it now. I'm not gonna lie. For a couple days in, I'm like, all right, I'm ready to maybe not talk about Swift so much next week versus the Jets. But apparently, this is a lot bigger star than I even realized, and I already realized she was a
Mhm.
very big star. So this is gonna be around for a little while. Might as well, sit back, enjoy the Riot Kingdom. You guys were in the spotlight even more than we've already have been, having won 2 Super Bowls in the last 5 years. Like.
No, I mean, I think that, yeah, for you, Rod, to put this a little bit in perspective, because we did look this up earlier, and I think this is a really good way to take a look at it. We went to look and see about like who would have to start dating another NFL star as far as like female artist, to equal Taylor Swift's magnitude, and there are only 7 individuals who have a higher
7?
Name
net
them.
worth.
Let's hear
I could only
Then-
think of 2.
Yeah,
okay.
well, and some of these are callbacks, but these are all individuals who are still alive. But it would have to take one of these people to start dating someone to be a bigger deal than Taylor Swift. Now, I mean, I don't know who out
Okay.
there would be willing to, but I'm sure there'd be one or two. Probably Zach Wilson. Barbara Streisand is the one who's tied
Oh, yeah,
actually
Zach
net
Wilson,
worth wise.
Totally.
Um,
That's old enough for Zach.
yeah, tied
That's
net
Zach
worth wise,
Sally.
right? With Taylor Swift. After her, we got Victoria Beckham, who's actually is somebody I didn't even consider equivalently in a relationship to an athlete of this level. So that's probably like the pinnacle of sports and music
Mhm.
relationship.
I'll
would
give
be-
you that because I do
those
remember
two.
that. Like that was a big deal. David
Yeah.
Beckham and Victoria. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a big deal.
I don't know
so-
why that slipped through my mind, but there you go. That's probably the pinnacle of it. Gloria Estefan, Beyonce. Not like
Beyonce,
she's
of
dating
course.
anyone. Yeah, so she's probably free to go. Dolly
Great
Parton.
wedding, yeah.
Dolly Parton, Celine Dion, Madonna, and then of course #1, Rihanna.
Rihanna.
Yep.
Yep. I
Oh
already knew
my
Rihanna.
God.
I already
So-
knew it was gonna be Rihanna.
So that's a list of
Wait,
individuals for
you know what's
sure.
funny? Yeah, while we're on this subject, I didn't realize Rihanna was like the top selling artist, female artist in the world.
So
I actually thought it was either Taylor Swift or Beyonce.
so
Yeah,
that
I
list takes into that list takes into account
Streams, right?
well, total net worth. So not just money generated by music, but also anything else they have going on. And of course, Rihanna has her clothing brand, which is massive, absolutely massive. She has I think it was
yep,
a makeup or perfume line
yeah.
that's huge. So I mean, I think it's one of those cases where like the majority of Rihanna's net worth is a product of that, and she also
Hmm.
happens to be a female artist.
Didn't release an
Gotcha.
album in like 10 years. I didn't even realize. You know, if you think like the Super Bowl, that's like her first performance in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was, yeah.
Yeah, man,
But then we go on this.
she's taken over the fashion
Please,
industry, is what I know.
I didn't. This is a whole new world to me. Like, man, this is just it's flabbergasted.
So
I
be
didn't even realize. Yeah,
it'll be interesting. So now we'll see
I
how
love how you cropped her face out
it's
in this photo.
it's we got to focus on
Oh,
the real MVP of the lot up there in that box. So
he's got a side of her ear and like half of her like face
I'm
in the photo. I'm talking about this is
checking
the
this right
it's
now.
Donna Kelsey, man. We got to focus on her. That's the priority here.
Jesus,
She's the real
Jesus.
MVP in that box. Come on. I
All
mean,
right.
yeah, what would crack me up though is like, and I mean, this will probably be my last thing on it. I don't know if we had anything else. Is
I'm
and
good.
Ra, I know I've seen you, I think retweeted from our account or whatever, but talking
What?
about the fact that every time Kelsey would even like get to look at the ball, the network would instantly cut to the box that they all were sitting in, and especially on the
Freeze
touchdown. Yeah, on the touchdown, Taylor Swift freaks out, big loud cheer, just like everyone else in the stadium was. And then Donna was just cool as ice, like, so yeah, I've seen this about 1 billion
Oh,
times.
she just called so politely while everybody in the box was screaming.
Right. It was just like, she's like up there, just like, what have I gotten myself into? It was pretty great.
Good time at Arrowhead. And I heard the weather was great.
Weather was
We
beautiful. Yeah.
yeah, put a stomping on the Chicago Bears, which that whole
That was
man.
fun.
Whew, talk about tale of two cities, tale of two franchises. Meanwhile, on the other side, this is an absolute
Oh
it
man.
is an absolute mess over there, man.
It's
Over in Chicago.
yeah. Let's start digging into the game. I guess we can do that
Yeah,
now
let's
that we're
go.
we'll take a pause from becoming a Taylor Swift podcast
Whip
and
it
talk about the
out.
Chiefs.
Okay,
Um,
y'all's feel. Now we talking football. Okay.
there we go.
We have to be on trend, y'all.
Right. All right. So I think the one big line here is our offense is finally back. We had a pretty disappointing couple of performances, I feel, the past couple of weeks. I think we'd all be agreed on that. And
Sure.
I mean, they're back. This is the offense we expected to see in 2023. So, do you all think this is a product of we're finally getting Nagy's playbook, we're finally getting it together, things are aligning there, or is this just we played the Bears? Of course, we put up 40 points.
I'm a little hesitant to say that we've got shit figured out, to be honest. On the offensive side of the ball, I think part of it is that we did play the Bears, y'all. I mean, let's be a bit honest here, and looking at the competition this last weekend, it was not a great team that we played against.
And I'll give y'all that, but I would say, I mean, that a sign of a good team is being able to dominate bad teams, and that's exactly what we did. I mean, you saw what happened. I
Yeah.
mean, we all think the Dolphins are a pretty good team right now, and they absolutely smoked a bad team this week. I know we'll dive into that a little bit later, but I'm just saying, good
Right.
teams are supposed to do that. Like, I mean,
Right.
it's either that or you find yourself in a trap game like Dallas did in Arizona.
Right. True. Very true.
But
Maybe I'm just being extra critical, I
you should be. I mean,
but I just
we
feel a
haven't
little
looked.
bit reserved.
Because we know what this team can be, and they haven't
Mhm.
yet so far. I mean, I would say this is the first good sign, but yeah, then that's where you go. Well, it was against that team; they did dominate them, so it's a positive sign. But I understand the hesitation too. I definitely do understand
Right.
the hesitation.
It's I mean the one that sticks to my mind from last year is when we played the Texans and barely squeaked out a win. And that
Yes.
was like
Yeah.
that was one of those wins that still felt like a loss. And I think if that kind of game
Yes.
had happened again against the Bears, like okay, we lost to the Lions, we squeaked one out against the Jags, and then if we were to barely beat the Bears, like I mean, I'm not one to jump on the panic bus like 2 or 3 weeks into the season, but it would start to be creeping up on me if we were to barely squeak something out against the Bears. So this was really reassuring. I definitely don't expect this every week. We play the Jets next week, and we know how good their defense is, so that'll be a really good litmus test for us. Especially
Yep.
since we'll be on the field offensively probably about 95% of the game, considering the offense we're playing against. Um, so it'll be a really good experience for us to. All right, we just put a beat down on the Bears. Let's see if we can ride that against a weak opponent into a strong one.
Absolutely. And I'm not even really considering the Jets a strong opponent either. I think it's going to be a couple weeks of this, to be honest.
For me, the strong opponent aspect comes from the fact that their
From the
defense
defense.
does and is good, or does
Be a
do a
much
good job,
better
and
test.
yeah. So we'll see how it goes. Of course, we'll talk about it more later too. The Are you all surprised that we continue to use CEH as much as we have been? He tied Pacheco for most carries in this game at 15. Or I guess I should start this whole thing off. Are you guys surprised we ran the ball 30 plus times? Because
Yes, because I benched Isaiah Pacheco in one of my 3 leagues, and of course we ran the ball.
right. I just like
Yes, because it was a complete 180 from the week before where we were like, where is our run game, you know?
uh-huh. Absolutely.
So, yes, it kind of feels reminiscent of those seasons where we criticized Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy and the lack of usage of the run game.
Yeah.
So I was surprised, yes, but pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
It's funny
Like,
because
see, it works.
we were kicking their ass so bad they were just trying to run out the clock.
Well, but the even in the first drive of the game though, like I think our first 2 plays were running games. I know our first one was, and our first 2 were I think at that. So I can't remember the last time we ran the ball as the first play of a game, or even in the
Fair.
first quarter of a game.
That's
Sometimes.
fair. Y'all realize we're kind of a broken record when it comes to this, right? How many seasons of doing this show together has this been maybe our number one complaint next to not having a number one receiver? This is what they do. This is what the Chiefs do.
Yeah. At what point are we
It's
just going to grow up and accept it? Yeah.
yeah.
Go back to previous seasons, previous episodes, and just, replay from there.
Right.
Just replay.
Just
We can
loop it.
save our voices this week.
Yeah. Damian Williams, like what?
All right. Oh man.
But yeah, definitely ran it more, and it does seem like, I guess to answer that question, I am surprised that I'm kind of surprised they ran it more, but I'm not surprised that they're using CEH more this week, because it does seem like what their goal is to kind of stick with the running back by committee thing right now.
Yeah.
That seems to be what their aim is by utilizing him so much. That's why we didn't cut him, because they knew probably going into the season that it wasn't going to all be on Pacheco.
Well,
yeah.
And the more I've thought about it, and especially after seeing, I can't even remember who it was. I think it was someone from what's their podcast, the Kingdom Queens, said it. Is that it looks like we're almost using CEH as the workhorse early in the season, where his mistakes won't have season-ending consequences. We can use him to make sure our players like Pacheco and McKinnon are relatively rested. You let him take the licks early on in the season, and then as we get deeper into the season where things become a little more must win, must do, must have, then that's when we get to use our all-stars for it, which I mean, I hate the fact that that's a thing in the NFL, but frankly, I mean, that's why running back by committee even exists too, is so that you're making sure the people who are genuinely important to your run game aren't getting hurt when they're running backs. So
Nick Chubb, look at that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What's up, man?
Yeah. So I mean, I'm glad that he gets to do it. I'm glad that he is at the very least, like, we may be using him, but he still gets to benefit from it by continuing to
Right.
play, instead of just being gone from the team like I think all three of us predicted he would be in this offseason.
Mhm.
And I mean, he didn't have any ridiculous carries or anything like that, but he certainly
No, but he was solid,
he did
consistent when needed, you know?
he understood the assignment and he carried it out. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right. Our slides or bullet 2 here is, of course, Mahomes being benched in favor of Hunk's favorite player on the roster, Blaine Gabbert, who had just an incredible showing, I have to say.
Minus the interception, but
I think he
yeah.
had 2 interceptions, I think.
2, yes.
Yeah, I think this is around the time they cut the game off for us. I don't know if you guys
Oh,
got
okay.
to see the whole thing.
We did, yeah.
It did. It did
They
get
played the
cut,
entirety?
and then I used a different
Apparatus.
situation
Yeah, I
the
got
game,
you.
yes.
Yeah, I got you. Say less.
But yeah, you guys, I was a little disappointed. It would have been great to have like a complete shutout the entire time, right? So that was a little bit of a bummer to not get more points on the board, I guess.
Well,
Because we were trending in that direction, but I totally get it. It was not worth it for Patrick to keep playing and give him the opportunity to rest, especially since he got rolled on a little bit on his ankle.
Frankly, I was shocked that, we played him, that first drive, coming out at halftime after he did, like you said, have that potential ankle injury. At that point in the game, it felt like we were comfortably up enough that, hey, why risk it? And then of course you can put him in later if it gets a little bit closer and closer. I don't think it ever would have gotten closer and closer. At that point we were up 35-0, I think. If it gets to the point where they're, 15, 16, 17 points on the board, then sure, put Mahomes back in to cover up the backup quarterback's mistakes. But I was kind of shocked, but there was obviously a game plan to get him out of there, and we did, and that was good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're going to talk about this defense?
Woo! We can talk about this defense.
Please, let's do.
Yeah.
This is a top 5 defense in the NFL right now.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it's young, which is really exciting. I mean,
we had a man down.
We're doing great things defensively, and it's a beauty to watch, especially after the struggles we've experienced.
Yeah.
Long-time Chiefs fans know this, of course. So it's exciting to watch it come together. And we thought immediately once Steve Spag made the bunch of changes and everything, we're like, oh yeah, this is as good as it gets. But the evolution of it over these last few seasons, you just get a little bit more crisp with each week, and it's really cool to see that all come together.
Yeah, and again, it's the same caveat. Yeah, that was a bad team on the other side, but again, like I said, part of being a good team is you are supposed to dominate those bad teams on both sides of the ball. And there's been times where, like you said last year against the Texans, where we did not do that on both sides of the ball, So it's like we might have dominated on offense. I still am pretty I still have PTSD from the Bob Sutton years when we couldn't stop anything. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then we've become more of the bend and don't break defense.
Yeah.
Throughout the years. Now we're like the Legion of Boom 2.0. I'm saying it. Well, that's right.
I just hate that
we're getting there
because of who it's tied to.
Got you. All right. Well, I'll say this. What did they call the defense in the 90s? The Chiefs defense. It was. I just seen a T-shirt that said "Rush Hour." I don't think that's what y'all called it though.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. That's Chiefs defense nickname. 1990s. Let's see. Okay, never mind. It's not pulling.
Am I making this up? I might be making this up.
You might be making this up. I mean, of course, the Steelers have the infamous steel curtain. The Minnesota Vikings had the purple people eaters.
Yeah. Okay.
Now,
let me say this then. This is what I need to say. We need to. Oh yeah, what was the Giants? Yeah, I remember that. I know which.
Yeah,
what you talking about?
Or something like that. I think.
Yeah, Michael Strahan and all them boys. Yeah. Well, we need a nickname for this defense because this defense is coming. Okay, this defense is coming, and we were down a man. We were down Nick Bolton. Didn't matter. Didn't matter. Next man up. Willie Gay. Next
Took
man
care
up.
of business.
Yeah. Willie Gay had a good quote in the locker room. I'm gonna mess it up just a little bit, but he was just talking about like there's no weak links in this linebacker group. So didn't matter that he was down. It just only means that when he comes back, they'll be even stronger. Shout out to
That's-
believe it or not, the world will have you believe that the person in the stands was the biggest star of the game, but it was Trent McDuffie.
I believe it.
Trent
Yeah.
McDuffie was lights out. This defense is coming.
But and this has been the thing for me every year when it comes to the Chiefs defense too, is like it always seems like we have decent enough linebackers, a decent enough defensive line, you know, guys who like on any other team would be amongst a great group of players to really dominate the field. And what's always been our weak link has been our secondary. You know, to some extent.
100%.
And it's nice to finally be able to like look at this and go, we don't have a weak secondary at all. Like other than Eric Berry, I don't know if I can think of a famous Chiefs secondary player who made their name at the Chiefs, because of course we had Darrelle Revis here one year, I think, and other people like that. But any individual to come to the Chiefs and make their name here as a secondary player within my lifetime.
You wouldn't consider Tyrann Mathieu? I mean, he made his name.
He didn't
in
make
Houston,
his name
but he
here,
was.
yeah.
But he was
Yeah.
in here too. Like he
So,
wasn't no
like-
scrub here.
Exactly. He left. Right. Exactly.
You're right.
It
You're
wasn't
right.
like we got him for like the tail end of his career or anything. He still made a mark.
Yeah.
No,
Don't
you
let
aren't
him hear
wrong.
this because he'll come for you on Twitter.
That's what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for the clout that we'll
Don't-
get after he rage tweets at us. Yeah.
Right.
No, yeah, Trent McDuffie, just absolutely great play. Who led the team in tackles was Tranquil, I think it was.
Yeah, putting them to sleep. Putting them to sleep. That's that next man up, man. It didn't matter if Nick Bolton wasn't there. Tranquil put him to
Tranquil
sleep.
came in, yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, you just look at what I like to see is like when I look at the list of defensive stats that occurred, and like when the people who we all know are towards the bottom of it because other individuals outperformed them. Like that's when you know things are going well. To me.
Trent McDuffie is Pro Football Focus highest rated quarterback right now in the league.
That's wild.
Woo.
I did not expect that. I mean, I know he's been playing well, but that's insane.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But yeah, shout out to the Chiefs. Shout out.
I'll take it, y'all.
Good weekend.
Chiefs Kingdom will take it.
Yeah,
Great weekend.
great weekend. And it's been a while since we've had a quote unquote easy schedule. Like, and that doesn't mean that these next teams are guaranteed wins, but it's kind of like you look down the barrel, and our biggest opponent doesn't seem to be until December, right? When we play the Dolphins.
Don't we play the Eagles before then?
Do we play the Eagles before the
I
Dolphins?
think we played
Yes.
the Eagles
Okay, then
like
I'm
sometime week
wrong.
7, yeah.
Okay. Well, it's definitely those two teams.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get to it once we start going around the league. But I have my doubts about them too.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. But
I just to ask the question, because the question has to be asked. What do the Bears need to do now? Like, I mean, they are just
blow it up.
Do they just continue to tank? I think I can't
Blow it
remember. One of the commentators said, like, what happens like when they get to the draft, and if they are the number 1 overall pick, do you just tell Fields, sorry, dude, you're not it, and draft a new quarterback?
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah, they should. I mean, well, here's the thing with the Bears. Like, and it's funny you say this. I had a conversation with some buddies earlier. Actually, good time to plug my other podcast. Shout out to Big Boy Broadcast. Find us on YouTube. But we were talking off the mic. We were just kind of talking about how something I've kind of brought up before on this show. Just because you draft a quarterback in the top picks, right, doesn't guarantee you that he's going to turn the franchise around. I mean, it's more likely, to me, I feel like it's more likely not the case. I feel like you're more likely to get a Trubisky than Mahomes. And where I'm going with this is just because the Bears organization, it doesn't matter how good the player is, organization is badly run.
Mhm.
So it really has to start with that. I would actually
Right.
think that before you even talk about who you're going to draft, man, you might need to talk about who you going to change in that personnel room, man, like in that front office.
But-
And who would y'all change in the front office? Because their GM came from Kansas City,
Hey,
y'all, right?
He did, yeah.
So, like,
and we wasn't winning then. And they're
Well-
not winning now.
Ryan Poles. Yeah.
And like I fully understand he was the individual who scouted Jones and got us to draft him and all that kind of stuff, but you know, at the end of the day, being a great scout doesn't make you a great GM. And that's just one of those things that always blows my mind too. Like even looking at coaches and all that kind of stuff, like just the immediate assumption that, oh, he was a great player, he'll be a great coach. Oh, he was a great scout, he'll be a great GM. Oh, he was a great, he was a great offensive coordinator, he'll be a great head coach. Somebody who we'll probably talk about in a little bit here. Like just at the end of the day, it's like people are good at certain jobs and that skill doesn't always translate. And I think in sports especially, there's just this hunger to assume that it will translate because you understand one aspect of the sport, you'll dominate another aspect of it. And it's like it's totally different animals. And so that's why I personally don't get too super pumped up unless it's somebody who's already proven themselves in the position. Like when we got Andy Reid to be our coach, I was hyped because he's been a head coach and he's been amazing before. But it's just like in other aspects of the game, though, it's got to temper expectations. And clearly, every member of the Bears back office just needs to probably find a new job eventually. And you can't really blame Justin Fields and all that. Like you said, it's no player gets drafted into the NFL without NFL talent. It's too big of a business, and there's too much just general knowledge at every team to draft a player who doesn't have the ability to do it in the NFL. Of course, you end up with the occasional individual like Marcus Russell or whoever who's just genuinely too lazy, and they hide that well enough. But for the most part, like we look at these people who are quote unquote bad players in the NFL, and you still have to remember, like, they dominated college. That's how they ended up here. And so how much is it that they just don't have the support from their team in order to find the success that they need?
And I would say in a lot of it, with the Justin Fields thing, a lot of his frustrations, I'm kind of with him. They're trying to change the way he plays, but they knew the way he played coming in. So it's like if this is not the type of player that's going to fit in your system, you don't draft him, or you do what the Ravens did and make your system fit toward that player. With Lamar Jackson. So it's just kind of like they're just trying to fit a square peg in a round hole, and it's look what's happening.
Exactly. All right. Best of the rest. Yeah. So I don't know if you all watched any of the just absolute slaughter that was that Miami Denver game, but
Bro,
man.
all I know is listen, because the Chiefs were on at 3:30, 3:25, right? So, first couple weeks I was keyed in on every single game, right? From noon to night, I was keyed in on every single game. This week, I had some friends in town. We went to like kind of show them around Dallas. I'm like, yeah, we'll watch Chiefs and Cowboys later. We can kind of skip the earlier games. It doesn't really matter as much. So we're, at brunch and they got the games on. I was like, okay, cool. We can check them out here. Game starts like what? It was like 12. The game started noon here. Like 12:05? I don't know the exact time. All I know is just like the Dolphins just scored a touchdown. Like what? It was
haven't had the ball long enough. What do you mean?
Yeah, it sounds like the game just started.
Right.
And it was just nonstop from that point on. And oh my God, Colorado, the state of Colorado, you guys are lucky the Nuggets won the NBA Finals this year because, geez, you guys had probably the worst sports day in sports fandom history, or sports weekend in sports fandom history. It's got to be top five.
It was pretty
brutal. Be top five. Yeah, because geez, they just and can I say also, no, we'll get to it. All right. We'll get to it. But Raheem, you hurt me, dog.
It is brutal. I got paid.
about
Do
that.
do you all put any stock in what McDaniel said about not kicking the field goal to break the NFL record? Like, do you think he just didn't realize that the NFL record was 72 and he could break it by kicking a field goal?
No, I actually do think thought
Oh,
he was being respectful, but I think actually kind of I agree with what Shannon Sharp was saying on first take. It's kind of disrespect that he didn't because they was already kicking
Uh-huh.
their ass. Like, I was like, you might as well have at that point. Just put the nail in the coffin, man. What are you waiting on? I think, but I actually think I felt like he thought he was being respectful personally. But I don't know. It's hard to read. Obviously we're not him. We're not in his locker in
no.
his mind there.
Wait,
So
And Hung
okay,
is
when you
um,
the
say so
yeah,
often,
the only
I guess it happened.
coach. Sorry. Huh? What were you
I
saying?
think we lost you there.
Oh no, we may have. Uh,
Let's go ahead. My service is wonky right now.
all right. Well, we hope your service returns shortly, and we
We'll get her
will.
back.
Yeah, we'll carry on.
We know y'all don't listen to this for us.
The real star of the show, and in a bad service.
She's the Taylor Swift of this podcast.
Yeah, for me, it's just the whole idea that you get up to 70 points and you're concerned about showing disrespect to your opponent. It's like, dude, if you cared
Too
about
late.
that, you would have stopped at 50. You would have stopped at 45. You would have stopped at
Yeah.
40. I mean, and I get the whole like counter argument to it that I've seen is that, well, he wanted to make sure a team can't catch back up because at the end of the day, an NFL team, like any team is capable of winning against any team as any given Sunday, right? Like you never know.
100%.
But once you're winning by about 30 points, I think it's pretty clear that you're going to be okay.
Right.
I also think that, like, if anything, then that this shows disrespect to Tua because frankly, once you get one concussion, you're going to get more. And he had two pretty brutal ones last year, right? And to the point where people were even
Interesting.
questioning, will he carry on his career? Will he be able to?
Right.
This dude, I understand he was balling out, but like, just like we pulled Mahomes because of ankle injury concern, it takes one. It doesn't even have to be like a tackle. It could be just like somebody was rushing him and he gets the ball out and still gets hit. It just takes one of those to
That's a
then
good point.
put your quarterback on the injured reserve for the rest of the year or maybe the rest of his career. And it's like, yes,
Yep.
if you're so then at that point, if you're not going to go for the NFL record, like, I mean, what are you telling Tua then? Like, I don't care about breaking the record, but I don't care about breaking your head. I mean, it's fine, and that's why I think maybe part of me is like, maybe McDaniel didn't realize like he just needed to kick it, and when he was asked, he covered himself up. But
Right.
yeah, it's just, I mean, don't give me that at all.
Sure.
And
And
that's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong.
I wonder how much of that was to I mean, for his own good, like maybe against his own good, wanting to stay in. Like he hasn't had much of an NFL career so far. But I'm actually with you though. I'm 100% with you with his injury history. Yeah, at a certain point, you bring him in, you bench him, right? You let who I don't even know who their backup is. You let him go in and spin it a little bit. But that being said, it was against the
Their
Broncos, and
backup.
it was glorious.
Yeah, right,
I
right.
loved every single minute of it. Every single fucking minute. I
Okay, so
cannot
what?
stand the Broncos. I
Are
loved
we?
it. I loved it. I can't stand Sean Payton. Actually starting to feel bad a little bit for Russell Wilson, but the whole organization, the Denver, yes, loved it. You guys deserve that.
So is Russell done, y'all? Like his
don't even think
days
it's his
are
fault.
over? I mean,
Russell doesn't play defense. Russell doesn't play defense. He
Yeah.
got the point. Like, there's no. I mean, even if he didn't play a great game, there's no. They scored 70 points.
Right.
That's Sean Payton. That's Sean Payton to me.
Yeah, I don't know if he might be done, but he didn't exactly have the staff around him last year that he probably needed in order to succeed. Then all of a sudden you're getting Sean Payton as your coach, who is probably completely changing everything they did. So they've essentially like had to scrap and rebuild twice now within a 1 year period. I don't think Russell Wilson has the tool set to succeed in that kind of tumultuous environment. I mean, no doubt he's a great athlete. You
Yeah.
don't win a Super Bowl without being one. All that kind of stuff. He thrived under Pete Carroll. So there's no arguing he's a good quarterback. But when you look at the tier list of quarterbacks, the guys who really sit at the top of the mountain are the ones who win despite everything. And to me, Russ is just not one of those. He wins with everything around him. He needs that. And he just hasn't had the support for it yet. I don't think that's
Sure.
that big of a surprise to anyone where they show him off, from Seattle. And it's like at that point in time, then you have to start questioning, it's like, is he done as a player, as a person, as whatever? I don't think so. But I think because the organization was done with him, that's what made him done, kind of deal.
Sure.
But hey, I mean, maybe next year they'll they'll be better. And I mean, of course, it's 3 games into the season, so you never know. But this isn't going to be their year. Will it be next year? We'll see. Will Sean Payton even stay around? Will he just say, yeah, right, I'm out of here? What's going to occur? So
I laughed. Yeah, go sit out. Go enjoy retirement, Grandpa. This ain't your stuff anymore.
get out
This
of
ain't
here.
your shtick anymore. But man, that was a bad beat, man. Like, and yeah, I mean, the Dolphins, they're coming. Man, the NFL, man, y'all fumbled the bag not having that game be here at Arrowhead.
Uh-huh. Well, hey, I'd remind you, and I don't know if the NFL has any power over this truly, but it's the Chiefs who got to pick the opponent. I did, and this is what
did that?
And this is what I said in the offseason too. I think that was the best move because there is zero chance in hell you want to invite Tyreek Hill and the rest of that offense into Arrowhead on a nationally broadcast game and run the risk of something like this happening to them.
No, I want that. First of all, that's not going to happen. Like, we just
Well,
talked
no,
about
it
how
won't.
our
Yeah.
defense is. Yeah, like they might have a chance of winning, but there's no. We are not the Broncos. We are not the Bears. There's no other, very few teams who are going to let that happen to them on national television. But no, I disagree with you, man. This game should have been a primetime game, man. This should have been a primetime game. Now it's an 8 a.m. game. It's maybe primetime in Germany. I'm not sure what time it'll be there, but for the rest of us getting up, like what? It's like 6 a.m. for Hong.
Y'all, it's at 6 a.m. for me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
6
so she'll be
I'm
halfway
like,
done with her day
I
by
wake
then.
up early, but
Yeah.
dang.
Yeah, so Hong will be.
So
here.
Hong will be fine. Yeah.
But her city. So,
it's so. I
Oh,
mean,
man.
But like,
Yeah.
imagine Chiefs fans in Hawaii. They can't go to sleep. They got to stay up through the night to watch the
Yeah.
game.
right.
Yeah,
Oh, it's wild.
that man.
It's
I'm
that's,
upset.
That's
I'm
that's a good
upset.
question. Maybe if I remember, which I will about 30 minutes before our podcast next week, I'll look up to see
Sure.
like just how much control the NFL does have, because I know the big thing with those international games is that the team that's considered the home opponent, to compensate them for them losing an actual home game, is that they get to decide whom on their schedule they get to play. So
Okay.
that was something that was decided by the Chiefs team to make it happen. So yeah,
If
I mean,
that's true, then you know what? Actually, I think so I did hear on the radio that I think you're right, actually, because I know that Clark Hunt wanted the Bears game to be at home because Bears fans are big travelers, so there would be a large attendance for that. So he did want that game at home. So you might be right. This might have been a Clark Hunt's move here, which, man, dude, you couldn't have picked the Jags.
Jax
on,
was away.
man.
Yeah, they were away, so we wouldn't have gotten them. It's
That's
a home
right.
opponents.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true. Never mind then. Never mind. Maybe you're right. Yeah, we'll definitely check on that for sure. But
Yeah.
there's definitely something to that. But I don't know. I'm disappointed. I think that these are probably the AFC Championship preview right here. And to watch it at 8 a.m., it's going to not be fun. But we'll see.
It's my dream personally, so I'm perfectly okay with it, and I hope we get more 8 a.m. games.
Oh my god!
I'm like one of the few people in the world that'll say that in Chiefs Kingdom, I'm sure, or in NFL fandom.
Noon is perfect.
Noon's good too. Absolutely, it's the 3 o'clock ones that get me, man. Oh, we have so many of those this year too. Oof, Don't like them.
Pretty much all the rest of the season, right? There's only I don't think we have any other noon games.
Yes, and it's not.
No,
yeah.
the rest is prime time, y'all.
Yeah, prime
Insane.
time
Well,
at 8
yeah.
in the morning.
The proper
yeah.
Kelsey Swift duo that we all have to talk about, though. I mean, I know we're all very excited about Travis and Taylor, but did you all catch just like some of the absolute masterclass of a show that the Eagles offensive line and DeAndre Swift put on last night?
I caught a little bit of it. I did catch a little bit of it. But yeah, it was definitely the better game of the two. I'll say for sure.
It was.
Yeah.
The other one was quite
Sluggish.
painful.
I know we like we talked about new heights earlier, and I never probably in my life expected to ever say this, but like Jason Kelsey makes me want to cheer for the Eagles a little bit more and more every time like I listen to New Heights and all that kind of stuff, and then I start watching him play. I'm like, it's like you know mentioning that is we keep reminiscing. Where's the run game? Where's the run game? Where's the run game? The Eagles have it, and so it's kind of fun to watch them play and do all that good stuff. So I it'd be great if Jason Kelsey's last season in the NFL ends up with another Kelsey Brothers bowl game, and we get to see them again in the Super Bowl. That'd be really cool.
It would be a very likable matchup.
And I mean, seeing the way they keep playing, it seems to be a possibility. But Rod, did you insinuate earlier that you think they're weaker than their 3-0 status shows?
I think they're a good team. And I know maybe I'm probably shooting myself in the foot because I feel like I was doubting them last year. But it just kind of seems like they let teams hang around. I don't know. They just look kind of sluggish, like these last few games, even this one where they looked a little bit more dominant in the game. I just feel like, I don't know. I'm not super convinced that they're a Super Bowl team. I think they're a playoff team for sure. But I don't know. I don't know if they'll make it back. They just don't look as dominant as they did last year, and they're still playing kind of the same caliber of teams. They're not my NFC pick for the Super Bowl. I'll say that.
All right.
I still say they're up there, though. I definitely say they're still up there.
They're up there. I mean, my pick, you see them on this list right here. But yeah, the Eagles, I mean, they're undefeated. They're undefeated.
Dallas.
Who you think
it's Dallas.
It's definitely not Dallas.
It's not.
It's 100% not Dallas.
His Dallas heart is bleeding right
exactly.
now.
He's so excited. All right. So before we talk about that NFC team of yours, though, I mean, the obvious one we have to talk about is the other Monday night game, though, is Bengals finally get a win. Congratulations. You squeaked it out. I don't know. Is there much to talk about here other than
I just don't think they should have put Joe Burrow in the game, or if they should have, or if they were going to do so, definitely rely more on the run instead of throwing it as much as they did. They're putting their franchise quarterback at risk right now. Like, that calf is definitely not good.
Right.
And I get the notion of not wanting to go 0-3. It's very few teams. I think they mentioned earlier the 2018 Houston Texans are the only ones that made the playoffs from being 0-3, or at least the last team to do so. That doesn't matter. I mean, that's I understand that's history or whatever. These aren't real things. Right. Like, you just got to keep winning. Like, you got to stay healthy and just win from there. Like, find a way to win. Make sure your best weapons are available for you late in the season, and they're putting that man at risk. I don't like it. And you this is coming from a guy who loves watching Bengals misery. So like, I don't want them to risk Joe having some season-ending injury by playing him when he's not fully ready.
Yeah.
That's just my personal opinion.
I feel like they're guilty of this last season as well, though. I mean, I think that's something that we always commend our training staff, and our medical team, and they don't have that same kind of staff looking out for Joe.
It doesn't. Yeah, it just feels different. Obviously, we're not as keyed in on them, but it's for some reason, even Pac's bum ankle we kind of felt confident with him. You know, we felt confident that at least he was going to be taken care of. And the stakes were different. Like that was toward the end of the season, right? That was
Right.
toward that was in the playoffs, that was toward
Mhm.
the end of the season. This is like week 3. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If it was week 3, Pat was dealing with this, man, put Blaine Gabbert in. Put
Well,
Blaine Gabbert in against the Bears. Or against the Jets. Like that's fine. Like sit
Yeah.
him down for a couple weeks. I'm
And
good with that.
I think, yeah, I think that's a really smart point because, like, at the end of the day, okay, maybe you miss out on the Super Bowl this year. In all likelihood, they still have a really good chance of winning the AFC North and getting a playoff spot. But, you know, maybe you miss out on the Super Bowl because you need to keep resting Burrow. But that's one season missed out on. If you keep playing him like this, and especially with that offensive line that they have, he's going to end up with an injury that at some point in time, it's going to change him as a player, if not, you know, as the ability to play. Because man, yeah, sure, quarterbacks use their arms to throw the ball, but I think any quarterback will tell you that how their legs work is just as important. You know, getting in that stance and throwing, unless you're Patrick Mahomes, of course, apparently, who
Unless.
I think could just
Well, but
you
like
know, sorry.
think back to like Sam Dalton. Was it Sam Dalton's years? Was it Sam? Who am I? Darnold. No. Why am I blanking on his name?
Is it Andy
Darnold, right?
Dalton or
And
Sam
who has
Darnold?
whole
Yeah, you're putting two guys.
Right,
no.
yeah.
Now
So-
I'm
It's like, okay,
them
so
all
what
up.
team are we talking about? What era? Where are we going?
But
Played for the
no,
Pan-
remember
Buffalo played
him
for the
and his
Panthers.
O line and his I'm seeing ghost. You
But-
know?
Oh yeah, no, I think you're right. It might have been Sam Darnold. I know Andrew Luck, of course, you know, his career just gets ruined by a terrible offensive line and being forced to play. Yeah, and I mean,
It was Sam Darnold. Yeah.
yeah, Sam Darnold certainly had potential to be good, but couldn't. Yeah, I mean, bad offensive line again.
Just wasn't surrounded with the pieces they needed.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, yeah, I hope we see him get some bench because at the end of the day, as much as I dislike Bengals fans, I having somebody like Joe Burrow in the league makes players like Patrick Mahomes better, and so I want that to continue to exist and see where it goes.
Oh, I dislike Bengals fans more than anything. I want them to miss the playoffs. I just don't want them to miss it because Joe's calf is bum. I want them to miss it just because like
They're
they made
bad,
a
yeah.
stupid play. Yeah, just got whooped on.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So let's do some
Well,
more.
and if they
oh,
were
sorry.
really looking out, now's the time to rest. It's early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, when you're an NFL team, all you need to do is get into the playoffs, and then after that, it's okay. Sure, having a bye week's nice, but frankly, that's when you have to play, because you know any team can beat any team, and so if you get into the playoffs and you're ready, healthy to go, and you have a quarterback like Joe Burrow healthy, your chances go up.
Yeah. But yeah,
Right.
let's talk about my NFC East or I always say that NFC champion, the
49ers.
CMC, Deebo Samuel, the
I was-
49ers, man.
I was starting to get
Both
so
sides of the
excited.
Debo.
I was starting to get so excited at the beginning of that game because
Oh.
they looked like they were having trouble, you know? And then, of course, they started handing
Yeah.
the ball off to CMC, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right.
CMC went to work. Put that number 23 on his. He looked like, yeah, Michael, you know, the GOAT out there.
The
Like
GOAT.
he was out here. He was out here running people over. Deebo Samuel, Dog. Who else? They had somebody that kind of came out of nowhere. Because Ayuk was hurt, right?
Right.
Yeah, he was out.
Yeah, both sides of the ball, man, just dominant, man. Like they're definitely a Super Bowl team in my opinion. They'll be coming out the NFC. There's no doubt about it. They look like what I think the Eagles should be looking like.
They do look good.
Like, you know, dominating teams. Even the
Which
ones
just
like the
makes that side
Rams.
of the league
Yeah.
that more exciting, as we get going.
Yeah. Yeah, even with the Rams, like the Rams, you know, they kind of they hung in there with them. That is a, rivalry game. Things get weird sometimes. So, I could see that maybe being part of it, but like, no, they still pulled it out at the end, and I just think they're coming. Yeah, but that's all I got to say. We're already kind of over an hour, so we don't got to.
All right, so we might as well, keep
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
I did put
Sorry, we spent the beginning of the podcast really jumping into Swifties. So
yeah,
Right.
sorry, guys.
It's a special dedicated, a special extended Taylor Swift EP album, State of the
Exactly.
Kingdom.
Longer episode than normal.
So I think the only other two games that I at least really wanted to talk about, and I'm curious if you all had any other ones. The Steelers. I not their offense, because their offense does not look good, but their defense seems to be playing well enough
Their
to
defense sure as heck looks so good.
yeah.
Hightower.
They
What's his name, right? Hightower.
the
That's my guy.
yeah.
And then T.J. Watt.
TJ
Oh,
Watt.
boy.
If
Dog.
TJ Watt does not win Defensive Player of the Year this year, it's rigged. I mean,
Dog.
this dude is. I thought
Dog.
I always thought, like, I mean, we wouldn't see somebody, but either of his brothers be better than JJ because of just how good JJ was. Turns out JJ may not have been even close to the best player in his family. I
Sure.
mean,
JJ had a bum arm. This boy is just healthy.
right?
This boy is healthy, man.
He's healthy and he's really good.
He's
Yeah.
really good. Yeah, I mean, I think we all know it's like when it comes to football, a good offense paired with a bad defense will never make it far. But I think we've all seen plenty of good defenses drag a bad offense. And I mean, yeah, we talked about the Bengals being able to win the AFC North, but Steelers might be a dark horse for this one. Although
That
they're not even the best defense in the AFC North, though, too.
you know what that division with kind of the Bengals kind of lulls and kind of what's going on with the Ravens and the Steelers and even the Deshaun and them, didn't they win this weekend as well? I mean, I would say it for, if nothing else, it's at least competitive. Like, it's not a guaranteed Bengals win this year at all.
I think 3 weeks into the season, it's at this point in time probably safe to say it's the most competitive division.
Definitely.
And I don't know if there's any other ones that are close enough that all four teams could potentially win it. But yeah, I mean, I was looking up defense stats when you're talking about the Chiefs being the top 5 defense in the league. You know who is number 1 right now? It's the Cleveland Browns. They're the
really?
best.
Are they really?
Yeah, they're the best defense in the league right now. They have the least points scored against them, least points per game. They're the rushing yards
Sounds
against
so
them.
wild.
Yeah, it's like 156 rushing yards in 3 games against them. Only one team is lower than them. They've only had 335 passing yards against them. Total yards a game, they're
Wow.
at 491. The next closest team's at 759. It's they're performing.
Oh,
Do you think that fan base is as conflicted as most moral human beings are? I mean,
Oh man.
about Deshaun? Do I think that fan base in
Yeah.
particular? No, I don't.
I-
Not Browns. No, I think they're just happy to we got a couple wins.
This is something that I despise about sports, honestly, is how quick a fan base is willing to forgive a player's actions when they are performing well on the field. I think all sports absolutely suffer from this. I think football suffers the most from this, though, because of how small and impactful every game is, how small the season is, and how impactful every game is. I mean, we'd have to hear from the Browns fan base what they think about Deshaun Watson, but I mean, I think it's pretty easy to see that the vast majority of football fans are willing to forgive someone the second they prove to be good.
unless you're Kareem Hunt. I mean,
Just got re-signed.
To the Browns.
True.
It's I mean, it's a fair point though, and does that put an asterisk next to any historic performance they put up? Maybe, but I think at the end of
We'll
the day,
see.
who's winning them games is their defense and not Deshaun.
Right. Yeah, it's more. Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say so too.
True.
Yeah. Yeah, Deshaun, and it was Nick Chubb
Yeah,
for a while. So
it's
It
it makes me not want to cheer for the Browns, but also like that's the same division that had been Big Ben for forever. It's like, and all this kind of stuff. It's just it puts a bad taste in your mouth, and I certainly don't want them to ever be in a position where they somehow negatively impact the Chiefs season. So let's hope for that. Because but I also never want to be in a position where I need to cheer for them as something that will benefit the Chiefs too, because it's just hard to do that ethically, I think.
Sure.
All right, last one. Since we said we would go fast and then proceeded not to. Sorry. Dallas. Raw, how are the vibes down there?
I got blocked by a couple people. But
Oh, did you really?
yeah.
The chuckles. Oh my gosh. You knew
Oh,
it was
well.
good.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Classic trap game. This is where
But you
this is the
got
classic
blocked
trap.
or State of the
Oh,
Kingdom got blocked?
well, hopefully not say the kingdom. I definitely got blocked probably on the
Okay.
phone from some text messages. I mean, they started it. They
Oh,
had
got
something to
you.
They
say.
started it. Okay.
I mean, so I'm just kind of like, yo, look what happened to y'all. Look what happened to us. Let's not go there in so many words. But this to me scream trap game. That's easily what I wouldn't even say easily what the well, I will say this though. Like we were talking about you were talking about earlier, bad offenses um
Can be carried by good defense.
can be carried by good defenses. I'm not willing to say, I don't know if I'm willing to say that Dallas is a bad offense yet, but it's definitely not a great offense. And they just seem to struggle. It was so many trips to the red zone where they just could not get it done during this game. And their defense tried to hold them in there, but they were kind of struggling. They were having kind of an off game as well. It just looked bad all around. So it just kind of what I know the hype was early on Dallas of being a potential contender, but 3 weeks in, and we're still only 3 weeks in. It's still early,
Right.
but their offense is not showing any progress and any signs of like improving. And I just don't see them making a deep run because it's going to come down to the defense, and defense can have a bad game like this, and there's still firepower, man. They're not stopping. I don't think they're stopping someone like the 49ers. Like even as good as the defense is,
No,
right now.
not at all.
And the other side of the ball's not going to be able to keep up. So yeah, that's what I think. I mean, classic.
Well, the Dallas
Classic trap
residents,
game.
I think that's a fair analysis.
Yeah, classic trap game, but yeah, it's also just a sign that offense needs a lot of work.
And I mean, I don't think it can be overlooked that like the Diggs injury probably is what sealed the deal here, and is probably what will
Definitely.
result in them
For sure.
struggling for the rest of the year. Because that dude
Sure.
could win them games by himself. So
He could, but I would say just going back to, I mean, you can make that excuse about our team.
Oh,
like
sure,
Nick
sure.
Bolton missing, and it didn't matter. Next man up. Like you're going to be down a guy. Not everyone's going to be healthy all season. So
when your team is so reliant on one individual, sans the quarterback, because obviously,
except for the quarterback,
but when your team's so reliable on one individual to win, you will fail eventually because it's football. They are going to get hurt. They won't be able to play every snap, and I think Dallas is a great example of that.
So you talked about other games, anything else? I had three topics that aren't NFL related. It was, I definitely wanted to talk about, did y'all check out the Colorado game?
I saw the score and just had a small chuckle.
Whew.
The guy who's in the mascot.
Yeah, definitely saw the score.
Yeah, the mascot for the Oregon Ducks is going to have like just the swollest arms and chest in the world at the end of this season, the way they're scoring and how he has to do those push-ups every time.
Well, did you see the beginning? Wasn't he, when he was banging on Prime on the clock, his head costume piece fell off and he had to like run back in?
Yeah, he was just like Prime Time. Yeah,
and
that was
hey,
good.
You know what? I do have to give a big shout out to Deion Sanders though, because like frequently when big personalities are confronted with comedy about their ego and whatnot, they react negatively. And I props to Deion Sanders for just like being all about it. He's just like, yeah, you guys should be doing that, good work. Yeah, it's like you deserve it kind of thing. I love seeing that. So that made me a much bigger fan of him.
I'm a fan right now, man. I'm on the bandwagon, man. I mean, I think he's actually a real coach right now. He's a real coach. I
Mhm.
never thought that Colorado was a national championship team. I mean, their conference is too good. Like they got USC, they got Oregon. They got Washington.
Yeah.
Washington's dominating right now.
Mhm.
They're not there. This game kind of went as what I expected. And if you look at Colorado's team, like they have no offensive line or defensive line. Like,
Right.
they can't protect their
Right.
quarterback for anything.
Nothing.
But just you listen to what he says to his players, you listen to how he lifts them up, you see what he does on the sideline. He's gonna do something with that school that's real, and it's not just for vanity. So
Mhm.
I'm in full support of Colorado. But yeah, the boys got smacked.
I
There's
got
no
I
way.
got like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
They
but
sure did.
yeah, that was interesting to watch. But both of our teams, our alma maters,
Hey, here we go.
both 4-0. Both 4-0
Yeah,
undefeated right
we're
now.
gonna spend a little bit of time discussing this.
Yeah, yeah.
Not discussing, but I guess
How
we get a
about them
little bit of a
Jayhawks?
respectable size
Yeah.
of the
Absolutely.
border
Word.
there.
Yeah.
How about them Tigers?
Yeah, y'all doing your thing too. Y'all whooped up on K-State, and K-State's good, right? Like they're
K-State's way
ranked.
good. Yeah. So
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah,
good.
them Tigers doing their thing.
But I think definitely the surprise
Oh
no. Well,
I know
thing
she was
is
about to
because
say something.
y'all have always had
but
y'all have always had basketball.
there
Y'all
we
have
go.
not
She's back. Yeah.
always
Right.
had football
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
strength. Okay.
Yeah,
No,
for
it's
sure.
Wait, did it cut out? It just like,
it
was
did. Yeah.
She
opportune
did.
You
We
moment.
really
did, but we
came
lost
back
you.
in. Like, yeah. It's
Oh, but you got the gist.
we got the gist
Okay.
of yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we caught you. We caught
You
you.
were talking about how you were going to become a Jayhawks fan because of how impressive it is that we win at football and
Oh
basketball.
my goodness.
No, yeah, I mean, and you're right. Absolute props to Mizzou. I mean, KU's been playing pretty well, but Mizzou's been beating
Yeah.
teams that we would expect to beat them. So
Hey, we're
it's
both
always fun.
Mizzou's
4-0.
23, KU's 24 right now on the AP poll. So
Oh wow. Okay. Well,
yeah, we're both right there. So knocking on the door. Let's hope that somehow they give us a bowl game together. That would be fun.
I mean, I think I would need to move out of the city for a little bit, though. No, because either way, the result, I think we end up with a repeat of the burning of Lawrence. So,
Oh my God.
oh man, yeah, no, I would love a bowl game of KU MU. So, fingers crossed.
Absolutely. But yeah, just a little college football talk.
Yeah.
I know we running on time, but
Yeah.
real quick fantasy update.
And even just a quick week 4 look ahead if we want to.
I apologize.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, it's also been my fault because I just forgot to put it in the slides for the past couple weeks. We almost always did it last year, and then I just forgot to do it this year. So, yeah, I mean, Chiefs Jets. I think we can do real quick and easy on this one, if for no other reason than Jets are awful. I mean, this is a team that like
Tell us how you really feel.
it just makes me 2 years in a row. I talked the Jets up in the offseason, and 2 years in a row. Now this one was a little more extenuating circumstances and understandable and all that, but yeah, it's a little sad for me because I was really hoping the Jets would be good this year. I think this will certainly be our real litmus test. Like, in hindsight, the Lions were an incredibly tough opponent with a really good defense, but that kind of game is hard to judge from an offensive perspective because it was our first NFL game under Nagy in recent times, and we didn't have Travis Kelce. So at that point, you can't really ask how good the offense is because there's critical things that still need to fall in place. Then we go to the Jags, and that game went about as exactly as anyone expected it, being close wise. Maybe not as low scoring, and nobody would have guessed as low scoring, but certainly, a close game, you expect that. Then we show up against the Bears, which everybody did expect. Now I think this is going to be a real good litmus test for our offense because they have an incredible secondary. They got a really scary box of individuals up there lining up to rush the quarterback and play linebacker and all that. So where this game will be decided is Chiefs offense versus Jets defense, because I don't think there's anyone questioning the fact that the Chiefs defense will have no problem handling the Jets offense.
Zach Wilson. Yep. No, it's yeah, I got really nothing to say. I'm just I can only be just kind of disappointed that for the foreseeable future we're not going to get that Rodgers Mahomes matchup, man. Like that's just that's disappointing. That's the guy he modeled his
This
game
would have been
after.
it.
Yeah, this would have been it. But
Hmm.
yeah, I just don't see the Jets being a problem this weekend. Prime time. Is it at Arrowhead or is it in Rutherford?
I believe it's in
It's in New
Rutherford.
York.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So, knock
it
on
is.
wood, the
Yep, it
biggest
is away.
the biggest opponent is that damn turf, man. They got to do something about that.
Well, and especially
Um,
with a Mahomes ankle injury going into this,
100%,
watching
man.
that one close and pulling
100%.
him out. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, get up fast and pull him out, man. Pull him
Hmm.
out. Yeah. Do the same thing that he did against the Bears. I don't care if it's prime time.
I,
Pull that man
I,
out in the third quarter after we
Yeah.
right.
mollywopped him, put 28 points on him. But I'm going 28-7.
28 to
28 to
7.
10. I'll go 28 to 10.
28
They get a
10.
field goal. Yeah.
All right. 28 10.
I'm gonna keep it simple, y'all. I'm gonna go with my exact. I came really close, so I'm gonna go back and keep the same numbers. 39-7. I'm gonna keep that.
All right.
Damn.
Go with
Damn.
it.
I like it.
Hog's a savage.
I'm gonna drop down to the 20s too. I'm thinking a 24-10 game seems pretty reasonable. Don't want to overestimate that defense for sure, but also if their offense can't stay on the field, how effective will they be? I hope I'm wrong and it's real high scoring, but hey, whatever the case may be.
Absolutely.
All right. Since we are uptight here, maybe we each pick a game that we're looking forward to the most this weekend. Is there anything you all are keeping an eye out on
For this weekend,
this
as far as
coming
the
week?
games,
Yeah, week 4.
I actually haven't really looked at the slate. Let me pull it up real quick.
Same. I was gonna say.
Oh no.
Let's see. I just hadn't.
No, yeah, you're good.
But
I put 2 games up here on the week 4
okay.
preview. The first one we can talk about probably Thursday Night Football, Detroit Green Bay. I mean, is Green Bay better than we think? Will Detroit just smash them?
Ooh,
Is this a
I'm
trap
interested
game?
in that game.
Yeah, is this a
No,
trap
well-
game for Detroit? I mean, like, where are we at with this? Because it's kind of
I
curious.
don't know, man. I kind of like Green Bay, man. They look pretty good right now. They look like man, Green Bay. I watched this I watched this this thing on YouTube on NFL YouTube ranking teams by their quarterback history.
Uh-huh.
And like Green Bay, unsurprisingly, was number 1, right? Because
Yeah.
they've
had Super
Bart
Bowl
Starr,
winners after Super Bowl winners. Yeah.
Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers. I know it's early, but Jordan Love looks like a guy who should have been drafted as early he was drafted.
Yeah.
And he's gotten a chance to sit back and kind of learn. And I like him, man. I like what they're doing over there. So I think that's going to be a fun game. I'll give you that. That definitely looks like a fun game, even for a Thursday. Hopefully, God, please let this actually be an entertaining Thursday night game.
Right.
But can I tell you the one I want?
Yeah.
I am so curious about Broncos Bears.
Broncos Bears. Battle of who doesn't want to win. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's gonna be an absolute. Oh, you already know what I'm gonna say. I
Yeah.
don't even have to say it.
That ought to be a real interesting or real terrible game.
I think it's gonna be awful. I think it's gonna be awful, and I'm here for it. I want to see it. I
No.
wanna see it.
And it feels good to like
Which is
just
why
be
it's
able to
gonna
watch
get views.
something.
Oh my word.
It'll feel good to watch something like that. Hung, I don't know if you picked one or not. You one coming up, or are you just
No, I don't have one picked out. Nope.
no?
Not
Oh,
yet.
All right. We'll
I'm
let
like,
it
I'm
slide this week.
Barely
But
still grieving over
Looks
my
like
loss
we're getting
in
our
Yeah.
first
fantasy.
international game. We're getting our first international game. Falcons Jaguars. It's an
That's
8:30
true.
game
in
so,
London, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll probably check some of that out. That'll be a fun one to watch. For me, though, I think the game of this coming week will be Arizona versus the 49ers. Other than Chiefs game, this is probably the one I'm looking forward to the
Arizona
most.
gets smacked, bro.
See, and at some point in time, I will learn my lesson and shut up about how the 49ers will be beat. But shoot, after seeing how Arizona has been performing lately, they're a team that have benefited from not having their starting quarterback. I think Dobbs is playing way better than Kyler Murray has in recent memory, and if he can keep this up, it'll be a lot closer for the 49ers than you think. And hey, like we always say, division games get weird.
They do get weird.
So of
All
course,
right.
expect the 49ers to win by,
That's for sure.
50 plus points, I'm sure. Yeah, now that I've said something. All right. Last but not least, fantasy update. In our league, I finally won my first game. Yay. Against my mom, who had a Kane on the bench. So
Yay.
thank goodness.
Thank God she did.
How did you guys do? How's your weeks looking for fantasy?
Well, across all my leagues, I was not safe. I was not marked safe against Raheem Mostert, who beat me in 4 leagues this week.
That's
4 of them.
wild.
I went against him in 4 leagues on one of his most dominant games, I think, in his freaking career. And Jesus, man, it was just
Brutal.
yeah, it was an onslaught. But let's see. Last week, this week 3, I lost against Beaches Christ, who had another person. Devontae Adams just randomly went off for 42 points, and then they still lost.
Right.
I was like, Devontae Adams destroyed me, man. So yeah,
Crazy. Hung, did you win or lose? I can't remember.
let's see. Let's take a look.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about it because
so she
I
lost.
lost so bad. I lost so bad. Very badly.
That's rough.
Like I don't even understand. I'm like,
You're that Kevin Hart meme where you're just still sitting on your couch, just staring at the TV in shock, not sure what happened and what's going on. It's
yeah, pretty much.
Sorry,
Exactly.
I will say I think the 3 of us all need to figure ourselves out because we are underperforming for podcast hosts in our own league, and
I need to pick up. I need to make some trades. I don't have anything worth of value to trade though. I need to pick up off waiver wires. Yeah, I got a lot of work to do, and I have no time.
You had no time. Oh man.
All right. Well, y'all, this has been fun. We're getting toward the end, guys. It's not.
I think
get out of here.
Time to sprint out of here. So, Hung, where can they find you?
Where can they
All right,
find
y'all.
And in the middle of the desert, apparently.
You can find me anywhere. Exactly. Right now, in the middle of the high desert. But follow me. I'm pretty much on every social media platform by my first and last name, Hong Forrest. HUONGFORREST. Come along for that Kansas City football fanatics. Stay for the journey, the inspiration, and the mom life. And I apologize for my in and out of service tonight. I don't understand why it was so bad here. So, but I'll leave it at that, and I'll turn it over. And to you, Billy, where can they find you?
Yeah, we gotta figure out how to get you like a dedicated satellite link or something for you, for all of these. Make sure we can get you coming in loud and clear. For me it's Twitter, it's Twitch, or X and Twitch, or the social microblog platform of choice for everybody, I guess we could say, for the time being. Chef Dooble's on there, at Chef Dooble's, CHEFDOOBLES. I'm not nearly as entertaining as Hung. Go follow her first, and then consider following me after that. And how about you, Ra?
Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at the Almighty Ra. Yeah, TikTok the Almighty Ra. Please follow our show on Instagram and Twitter at SOT Kingdom KC. And please follow us on YouTube. Please like and subscribe so we can get put in the algorithm over these Jesus Christ State of the Kingdom things that pop up when it's either that or
the Disney game.
The Disney game.
Disney
So let's get our podcast at the top of the page, people. Like and subscribe. Please give us a follow. Follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. There we go.
All right.
Sorry, I was struggling toward the end there.
Man, it's been a struggle. It's Hung doesn't have service. My recording is having a little bit of issue. It's like we started off by saying week 1. I started off by saying week 1. Let's get ourselves out of here and hope the Taylor Swift revolution continues in Kansas City.
We got
right?
this.
Oh my goodness.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The Taylor Swift effect, man. It's different. It's a different world, y'all. It's a different era. All right,
All right, and we're out.